So today, we're going to dive into the life of one of the most iconic heroes in modern fiction, Naruto Uzumaki. His story, it's the ultimate tale of resilience, of going from a completely rejected outcast to a hero celebrated by everyone. It's an incredible journey, so let's get into how he pulled it off.
This quote right here, it's basically Naruto's entire philosophy in a nutshell. It's a lesson he learns the hard way through so much pain, but it's what ends up defining him. He starts out totally alone, just desperate for anyone to even look at him, but he eventually figures out that his true power was never going to come from fighting for himself, but from protecting everyone else.
So Naruto's story, it starts in the absolute worst way possible. He's born an orphan on the exact same night that a terrifying demon fox attacks his village. And to save everyone, his own father, the leader of the village, makes an impossible choice. He seals that monster inside his own newborn son. This single act, meant to be a sacrifice for the village, basically cursed Naruto with a terrible power and a lifetime of being utterly alone.
So, the big question is, how did he possibly overcome a start like that? Well, we're going to break down his journey into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with the rejected outcast. Then, we'll see how he learns that true power comes from bonds, not battles. After that, we'll watch his rise as the hero of the Leaf, follow him right into the middle of the war for the future, and finally, see him achieve the one thing he always wanted by fulfilling the dream.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. Before he was a hero, before he was anything, Naruto was the village pariah. Can you imagine being completely shunned, feared, and just desperately lonely? And for most of his childhood, he didn't even have a clue why.
The thing is, the event that completely defined his life happened before he could even form a memory. A gigantic, monstrous beast, the 9-tailed fox known as Kurama, just appeared and nearly wiped the Hidden Leaf village off the map. It was a catastrophe that cost countless people their lives, including Naruto's own parents.
And this is the key to why his childhood was so awful. He became what's known as a jinchuriki. It's a term for a person who has one of these powerful, tailed beasts sealed inside of them. So, in the eyes of the villagers, he wasn't just a kid who lost his parents in the attack. He was the living prison for the monster that did it. To them, he was the demon fox. And all that fear just turned into pure hate, and they aimed it all at this one little kid.
So what do you do when everyone pushes you away? Well, for Naruto, it lit this fire under him. He developed this loud, almost desperate ambition. If no one was going to acknowledge him, he was going to make them. So he'd run around screaming that he was going to become the Hokage, the strongest ninja and the leader of the village. It wasn't really about power for him. It was his only way to scream, "Hey, I'm here, look at me."
But, okay, things start to turn around for him. After he finally graduates from the Ninja Academy, he's not alone anymore. He gets placed on a team, and for the first time in his entire life, he starts to build connections. And these connections, they become the foundation of everything he is.
So, he gets put on Team 7. Under their super-skilled, kind of laid-back teacher, Kakashi Hatake, he's teamed up with his polar opposite, the cool, brilliant, and moody rival, Sasuke Uchiha. And of course, there's Sakura Haruno, the girl he had a huge crush on. This kind of ragtag group of kids becomes his first real family. They basically saved him from a life of solitude.
And right away, you see this huge clash between Naruto and Sasuke. While Naruto starts finding his strength in wanting to protect his new friends and his home, Sasuke is on a completely different, much darker path. His entire family was wiped out by his own older brother, so his goal isn't about building connections, it's about getting revenge. And this difference, man, it's going to define their entire lives.
And you know what? Naruto's whole protect my friends thing, it actually starts to work. Through his actions, his sheer refusal to ever give up, and his incredible spirit, the boy everyone once feared starts, little by little, to earn their admiration.
Now, this didn't happen overnight, not at all. During the super tough tune-in exams, he showed everyone he had an unbreakable will. Then he faced off against Gaara, another kid just like him, another Jinchuriki drowning in loneliness, and he actually connected with his pain. He got way stronger training under the legendary Jiraiya. But the real game changer, the moment everything shifted, it was when he single-handedly defeated Pain, the villain who had just leveled the entire village. He came back, and for the first time, he wasn't met with fear. He was met with a hero's welcome.
You know, when you think about it, Naruto's real superpower wasn't that giant fox demon inside him. It was his empathy. He had this wild ability to get inside his enemies' heads and understand their pain, because hey, he lived it himself. It was like his own suffering gave him a secret key to understanding other people's pain. He did it with Gaara. He didn't just beat him, he changed him.
And that became his thing, turning his enemies into his greatest friends.
Okay, so this all leads up to the massive climax of his story. We're not talking about just saving a village anymore. Now it's about saving the entire world. The Fourth Great Ninja War breaks out, and guess who's standing right at the center of it all?
So you've got this super shady group, the Akatsuki, and their plan is, well, it's insane. They want to capture all the tailed beasts to cast a worldwide illusion, basically trapping every single person in a dream world to force a fake peace on them. Faced with, the end of the world, all the great ninja villages, who used to hate each other, have to team up and form one massive, allied shinobi force.
So after this huge, brutal war against these almost godlike enemies, you'd think it would be over, right? Nope. The biggest threat was his best friend. Sasuke decides that the only way to get real peace is to just burn the whole system down and start over. And so the fate of the entire world boils down to one final epic clash between two friends, two rivals, two brothers.
And after that incredible, world-shaking final fight, we finally get there. We arrive at the end of this long, hard road. The dream that lonely little kid screamed from the rooftops, the one no one believed he could achieve, he finally does it.
I mean, just look at this list. This is a line of absolute legends who protected the Hidden Leaf Village. Hashirama, the guy who founded the village, Minato, his own dad, Kakashi, his teacher, and there, at the very end of that incredible line, the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki. He actually did it. He got the respect of the entire village.
But the story doesn't just stop with him getting the fancy hat. He didn't just get a title, he got everything he was ever denied. He marries Sanada, the one person who always saw him for who he was, and they have 2 kids, Boruto and Himawari. The orphan boy finally has a family. And his story, his legacy, now continues through his son.
So there you have it. Naruto's journey from a nobody to the most important person in the village is done. He got the acknowledgement he craved his entire life. But it leaves you with this really interesting question, right? How does a leader whose entire life was shaped by loneliness and a desperate need to connect with people go on to reshape the world? What does peace built by someone like him really look like? That's a legacy worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me.